weekend it was, college football. The big games are finally back this weekend. Uh, Michigan did what they were supposed to do. Got the 51-7 win over Colorado State. I was really hoping for the shutout. They squeaked one out late there. I'll get your first thoughts on it, Ben. What did you think about it? And to me, it was all around a good game, in my opinion. But what did you think?
Yeah, for a first game, new OC, new DC, bunch of new players on both sides of the ball, especially the defensive side of the ball. We did what we were supposed to do. That sums it up perfectly. I was a little disappointed we lost the shutout too, but at that point there was, I think Harbaugh said we played 84 guys, if I remember right.
Yeah, 84.
So, that's you're talking third when they get into it. So there was a mix of second and third stringers out there when they scored that touchdown, and they still had their ones in. So, those guys held their own against those guys, which they should. Colorado State had 59 new players, I believe it was, on their roster, first year coach. So, overall it was pretty good. I thought Cade looked like Cade, the good and the bad. The one thing that I probably admire most about him is he doesn't get rattled too easy, and he comes back and gets it. The commentators had said something about when he gets mad, he plays better, which is true for a lot of guys. And I did think that almost interception that would end up hitting the ground. After that, I thought he played really good football, but missed some deep guys, had some drops affect him too. I
definitely agree with that. Definitely a lot of drops.
Yep. Blake Corum looked great. I thought Donovan Evans looked good, or Edwards, looked good. Cornelius Johnson, who I've thought could be a really good, one of the best we've seen for a while, continues to have the drops. He really hurt some things, and then I was surprised that Andrel Anthony really wasn't involved. So
that was one thing I was going to bring up, because you definitely were really high. I mean, I was too, just because of what he did against Michigan State last year.
Yeah.
He was very high up there, and I think on everybody's list. And he wasn't really involved at all. That's one thing I did realize. I think I seen him out there. I think he had one catch for about 5 yards.
Yep, one catch for 5 yards is exactly what he had. So I really thought I would see more of him. And, like I said, I really like he has, going back to the first game last year, he's had a problem with drops. And I don't think it's a talent issue. It's probably a focus, right? A concentration thing. But there's a point where you got to get out. And so I'm going to be interested to see. I don't remember last year Cade having or JJ having nearly as many drop passes as Cade did. So I wonder if it's something in his mechanics or something the way he throws the ball, or maybe he's just more comfortable catching the ball from JJ than Cade. But Harbaugh really talked him up. He got a lot of pump. Got a lot of good vibes coming out of camp, and he just drops too many catchable balls. He just does. It'll be interesting to see if that turns around with JJ. I wonder if Cade is part of the equation. Is kind of what my point is.
Yeah, I'm looking up. I don't remember him dropping any of those this weekend.
He dropped the first two passes thrown to him.
Well, he was 2 receptions for 19 yards. I don't remember. I'm not arguing. I just don't remember. ESPN doesn't have the stats up. That's why I was checking.
Yeah.
Doesn't have those stats. It doesn't go that deep inside. I don't know. I can't find it. It's not that big of a deal. But I mean, Eric Gall dropped one, I think.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Eric Gall kind of fell there, but that was on the one that was originally picked off, not picked off. I mean, if I'm Cade, I'll say this though, if I just go into the KJJ thing, it's still running rampant through all sports media at this point.
Yep.
I mean, if I'm Cade, when we talked about this last week, were we going to see JJ at all this week?
Right.
And JJ played serious snaps. Like, I mean, he was. I mean, the game was out of focus, but was pretty much determined when he did come in. But he was playing a serious amount of snaps, showing that he can what he can do, whether it's what he did. I mean, shit, he came in and rushed for a 30-yard touchdown, had three rushes
20,
for 50 yards.
Yeah,
had 3 rushes for 50 total yards. At that point, I mean, if you're Cade, you're probably pissed. Honestly, I mean, I'm not saying anything bad on like Harbaugh, but I'm like, all right, well, is Cade going to get the same treatment this week? Is he going to be able to come in when it's, say, a 30-point game, which hopefully it is? I mean, we're favored by 51 points. Is he going to be able to come in and play when JJ does, when we are up a lot, or is they just going to skip over him? I mean, I think that'll be our telling sign. If he comes in and plays and doesn't get, like, he just plays like a few, like even a series, doesn't play like JJ does, and that's going to be our telling sign that, hey, it's JJ's time. Like, I think, and I honestly, I hate to say it, but I think it is.
And I think it is too, and I think we've got enough clues now to see that. And I mean, obviously, Saturday could be the deciding factor. Harbaugh said it could go into Big Ten season too. I don't see that happening. You know, JJ come in for like 2 snaps, maybe the third series. I think Harbaugh was just he wanted to tell Cade something. He was trying to calm him down. What? You know, looking at minutes, I would guess minutes played that Cade was right, or JJ was right there with Cade.
Yeah.
But, you know, we talked a lot about our theories and thoughts and why Harbaugh's doing what he's doing. But I think that you know, JJ comes in, played those 2 snaps in the second quarter, but then in the second half, his second play, right, he gets that run. 3 carries, 50 yards carry average, pretty much. Second leading rusher, I believe he was. Third.
Yeah.
Corum had 80.
76 and 64, I think, for Edwards.
For Edwards. So, and I think Cade's demeanor after the game, you know, he was talking about, and don't get me wrong, he didn't say anything wrong or
no,
wasn't out of line, but kind of sounded defeated and a little bit whiny about the way that the process has played out. And I get it. He's a competitor, right? He comes to play just like JJ comes to play. But I think the writing's on the wall, and I think he sees it. And right now, I believe very strongly that it's JJ's spot to lose, not to win, kind of as you know, Harbaugh had said it's a promotion for JJ. And,
yeah,
you know, I think that, you know, I've had a talk with my Sparty friend, massage therapist today. But I told you before, she's a JJ McCarthy fan. She's seen him.
Yeah, she posted on her when I made it
fangirling over him, right? But
when I made the whole JJ McCarthy post, days away post. You think that was her that commented on it?
Yeah, it was. Yep, that was her. So it's funny is that I lost where I was going with it.
Sorry, that was my fault.
That's okay.
Fangirl anyway, talking to your Sparty friend.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. Well,
I had
a real good point there, but it's gone now.
Oh, sorry, I fucked that one up. I tend to squirrel off. Sorry.
Right. That's okay. So the point being though is that, you know, he is yeah, it's gone.
No, so what you were saying is JJ's job to lose. Yep. I mean, at this point, pretty much, and I agree. I do. I mean, even the way that Cade started the game last week bad, period. He didn't start it bad, but we didn't. I mean, started with a 3-and-out. I mean, I get it, first drive of series, but I mean, it is what it is. But even then, I mean, you have that 62-yard play with touchdown, just created really by Roman Wilson and the offense blocking for him, which,
Yeah.
I mean, wasn't him. I mean, it was, but it wasn't. He had to make the pass to get there. Next play, had a 12 yards to get to the end zone. You kind of seen the same thing as we did last year. Even though we were good last year, we seen where we always got like a big defensive player, a big kick return that took us down into the inside our own red zone when RJ Moten intercepted it this last game and took it down to like the 20 or whatever it was, 15-yard line. You seen Cade come in and went 3-and-out again.
Yep.
I mean,
so I got my thought back, right? So I'm telling my massage therapist this is the deal, is that, you know, in sports, I believe very strongly, and I believe that you do too. You agree with me on this, is that, you know, here Cade took us to our first Big Ten championship in whatever it was, 14, 15 years. First college football playoff. He's the champ, and you just don't have to be equal to the champ. You have to unseat that champion. And I feel like Harbaugh has wanted to do this all along, but because, you know, you bench a guy that has those credentials, people are going to be going like, what the fuck? And now Harbaugh's putting it out for the team to see, for the fans to see, for the whole world to see. This is not the Cade to me. And again, first game, hard to be a hard judge, but he looked to me just like the Cade from last year. Overthrown, underthrown, little behind, little ahead, which contributed to the drops. But as you know, I firmly believe if you can touch it, you can catch it, you know. But I think that's Harbaugh's mindset. And I believe that his mind's made up. Here it is. This is why. And, you know, like I said, you seen it in that first drive where JJ took off, running a 4.5 40. Can't remember the three now, but there's 3 quarterbacks in the NFL that are faster than him.
No, that's the thing. The dude is, I mean, in my opinion, I mean, probably honestly could be probably one of the most talented, probably the best talented quarterback that came to the University of Michigan ever, as long as he stays healthy and actually plays the way that everyone talks about him.
Right.
He could honestly be the greatest Michigan quarterback of all time. I don't see why. I'm not saying he's gonna. Don't take that as I'm saying he's gonna.
No,
I'm saying
I understand.
he's got the skill set to. And going back on the Cade and how you're saying this is Harbaugh's playing the whole time. Once you get, I mean, even high school, but once you get to the college level, sports are fucking brutal. You're going to get your fucking heart ripped out. You could, I mean, whether it's an injury, whether you blow your knee out and can't play football ever again, whether someone just beats, like in this situation, comes in and beats you out for a position.
Right.
Listen, dude, like I don't think Cade McNamara will probably still go down as a top 10 Michigan quarterback of all time just because he won a Big Ten championship.
Correct.
Just because of that.
History is going to remember him fondly because of the CFP of the conference championship. So, and you know, again, I'm not knocking Cade, but he just doesn't have the physical gifts that JJ does, and you know, JJ's five-star guy for a reason, and you know, he kind of bid his time last year, and I feel pretty strongly it's his time now. He could come out and make a fool out of both of us, you know, next week or a couple weeks. But you know, the other part of it is you know, I think Harbaugh obviously wants to keep Cade around for, you know, injury purposes, or if something goes wrong with JJ or whatever. You don't want to lose that guy, and you know, I think that's what it all goes down to, is Harbaugh wants everybody to know that this is why, and because it could go bad, right? Let's say after this week, he announces JJ as the full-time starter, and Case says, "Peace out," right? And
well, luckily,
week three, JJ's shoulder injury flares up, or he tears an ACL or something. People will lose their fucking minds, even if they were screaming for JJ from day one.
oh yeah, they will.
They're going to do it. So Harbaugh's in a situation, but he's got to do what's best for the team first and foremost, and see what happens. So I'm excited to see it play out, but I'm pretty confident that I know the outcome, just like most of the Michigan fans are.
Yeah, I think that's the outcome that I think everyone is, as you said, JJ will more than likely be the starter coming into week 3.
Yeah.
I think we'll get off quarterback talk. I mean, it's talked about enough. How about the defense, man? The biggest question on this team this year was going to be the defense and the offensive line too, but we'll go off defense first. 7 sacks, 2 turnovers. I mean, I don't think
tackles for losses, right?
Yeah, I think there was 10 tackles for losses. I got it pulled up right here. I did. Hang on. I mean, this part of the this is the part of the team that I've been wanting to see was how this defense. I mean, it was Colorado State, yes. It was a smaller school. I'm not 100% sold. Won't be sold till we play a Big Ten team. Honestly, I mean, our non-conference schedule is not very good, but when you're getting 7 sacks, I don't care. 7 sacks in a game, 8 sacks in a game, whatever it was, against any college.
Right, is good.
You're still playing Division I football players out there. But
yeah. Low key Division I, right? But the thing that a lot of people forget is that just about anybody, because there's some schools, especially in your bigger cities and your traditional powerhouses in Texas and stuff. Every Division I college football player was the best high school player on his team at some point. Like I said, you got some schools that Cass Tech locally for us, they send 10 guys Division I every year. So, but by and large, these guys are the best of the best, and obviously Michigan's generally going to out recruit schools like that. But the exception is Jackson State getting that 5-star, but that was all about Deion Sanders and whatever he did, what he had to do to get that kid there. But so the caveat is, it's Colorado State, but I'm with you. 7 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, had an interception, a fumble recovery. That defensive line, again, Colorado State, but that defensive line looked dominant. And
absolutely dominant.
Colorado State looked better than last year's defense. And I think Jesse Menner, him and Mike McDonald, same school, right? Same
system.
Ravens under John Harbaugh.
Yeah.
And when Mike McDonald come here 2 years ago, Harbaugh John had told Jim that he could have either one of them.
Mm-hmm.
And he picked, I forget the exact reason, but it was kind of a splitting hairs decision. But I think Minter might be, at least game 1, he's a little more aggressive than McDonald. And man, I like it. That was fun to watch.
Coming off that, I mean, he's also obviously they run the same defense, obviously, pretty much. I mean, Jesse Minter's got a few changes to it, but I think you're right. There was a lot more blitz packages called, a lot more pressure brought. I mean, it's just, they couldn't do anything in the pass game, period. Because whether our cornerbacks, in my opinion, I would like to see a downfield view, a lot of that stuff, like from behind the quarterback. So I kind of want to know whether their quarterback was just kind of oblivious or if our defensive backs, because the DBs to me is another big point this season. was our DBs just playing that close and keeping that tight to the wide receivers that he just couldn't get the ball off. And obviously, in an air raid offense, that's what they're going to try to do.
Right.
But I would really like to see that so I could see like what our defensive backs are doing. I mean, I feel like that's what's happening, but I also don't want to say that and then that's not what was happening. Our defense he just wasn't getting the ball off. But I mean, at least everything else I've seen, everything
that very
points.
well could be. Again, isn't anything close to what we'll face during Big Ten season. I think Maryland and Rutgers would both beat Colorado State pretty soundly. But again, first game, gotta love what you seen and excited. And one of my favorite things is I don't think I'd have to double check, but I don't think that anybody had more than one sack. I think 7 guys had sacks.
Let's look here. Okay, I don't care about Cornelius Johnson. We can get off him. So defensively, Colson.
Yeah, nobody had more than one.
Yeah, because Sanders still had one. Moulton had one. Yeah, I know.
So that to me, the impressive thing of all is that you didn't. Yeah, they have, but you didn't have Aiden Hutchinson getting 4 and Ojabo getting 2.
That's the thing. What was it? 19. I can't remember what the sacks numbers were from last year. Between, I think we Ojabo and Hutchinson had like majority of them, and I think like everyone else had like 5.
See, I was
or
I'm thinking off the top of my head, we had 50 and Aiden had 42. That wouldn't be right because, I'm not sure, but you're right. Ojabo and Aiden had the majority of those sacks.
Yeah, it was just some outrageous number where you're like, wow, okay. Like I said, this defense to me it proved that they're still probably legit. I mean, I don't see anything. Obviously, I didn't see anything in that game. Even the touchdown they scored in that long pass, good catch, good throw. That's all you got. That's all you can say. The coverage was there. He was on him. Good catch, good throw at that point.
Yeah.
Again, passing game really wasn't. That's the shitty part about not having Cade have a good game is like we didn't see anything with our receivers, and I think we played it down quite a bit. We didn't run obviously majority of the stuff we're going to run when we play a Big Ten team, and obviously we're going to downplay it a little bit. Didn't take any really big shots that I remember.
No,
coming off it.
So 34 sacks last year, and Ojabo and Aiden had 25 of them. So
yeah. Well, let's throw this out there right now. So we had 70 total sacks, or not sacks. I'm sorry, tackles on Saturday. Junior Colson had 10 of them. I like you said, I said as of right now, this defense looks better than last year, at least all the way around. I don't see anything other than that.
So I'm gonna put the cart before the horse here a little bit, but 2 things is that I hemmed and hawed about our defensive player of the game, right? And Junior Colson's mine. But
mine too.
I thought long and hard about just naming the whole line because of the 7 sacks and 7. Actually, there was more than 7. Some guys had half sacks. There
were 7 total.
Yeah, but there was more than 7 guys involved. Is what I'm saying.
That's what you're saying. Got you.
So that in itself is impressive. But Junior Colson for sure, my defensive player of the game.
Yeah, he was mine too. It was honestly in. I'll say him obviously, but I want to just gonna give a shout out to Mikey Sanders still, man.
Yes.
I mean, three total. I mean, three solo tackles, a sack, and a tackle for loss. I mean, for a kid that was playing wide receiver at this time last year, and I
Right.
mean, he was in on. He just seems like one of those freak players that was. He was there on every play. He just wasn't really getting the tackle. He obviously wasn't getting the tackles, but he was there majority of the time, whether it was a run play. He was one of the first ones to him.
Yep.
I mean, shout out to him. Let's go back to offense here. So, I mean, offense, I don't. Offense, I think this is pretty much anywhere you want to go. Any leader on the stat board will be pretty much preferable. Um, who do you got for your offensive player of the game?
So I think it can go a couple different ways, right? And I was gonna throw JJ out there just to kind of rile some feathers, but I think that even though he didn't multiple impacts, I'm gonna go with Roman Wilson, just because that touchdown run, he turned water into wine a little bit, and not only did he hit a second gear, he hit a third gear, and
Yeah.
he's been saying he's the fastest kid on the team. He said it all last year, but man, oh man, I think he proved it there. He just, like I said, it looked like he accelerated 2 or 3 different times run, and that was impressive. So I'll go with Roman for that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to give it, I'll go. It was really between me, obviously, between him and Blake. I mean, I'm going to give it to Blake just because he pulled the old H2 Hassan
Yep,
Haskins hurdle over
yep,
defender
yep.
there in like the second quarter. I mean, that I'll give him to that just because of that. I mean, like you said, it could go either way. And I mean, obviously, Roman Wilson was probably the biggest impact player on the team. I mean, our running backs were great. I mean, you can't ask for every single one of our running backs that played. I mean, that actually played significant amount. CJ Stokes had 6 rushes, 35 yards, 5.8 yards a carry. Edwards, 5.3 yards a carry. Foreign, 5.8 yards a carry. That's looking just like last year on the average that they were running from last season. I mean, you can't really argue with that.
No, you
Like
cannot.
you said, no, that game was just it was good, all around good game, and I mean it was hard to what's it called? I mean, hard to judge as we talked about last year when I think we beat who did we beat last year? Northern Illinois, and we beat them like 63-3 or whatever it was. You're gonna have a lot of people that get into play, and you're kind of looking at the stat sheets like, well, he played good. Oh, he played good too. I mean, he did more than this. I mean, that's where it comes into play. But all around, I mean, no complaints in that game. I mean, scoring
Yeah,
two
for the
scores a
most
quarter.
part, really, other than JJ, right? After the second series, I think of the second half, might have been the first series. Harbaugh started flooding people in once we were up 30-0. So it's really hard to pick a player of the game when 84 guys play, and there's a lot going on. So, but yeah, a bunch of guys that are deserving of it. As we've said multiple times, I don't think that you could ask for anything more. Shutout would have been nice for a first game. In a first game with new coordinators on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
I thought it went really well. Hawaii were 51. I don't remember anyone being a 50-something point favorite over anybody. I might take Hawaii in the points for $100 and just see what I can do. There's a guy on Twitter. There's a guy on Twitter today saying that he'd bet anyone $100 that Michigan's got 51 at halftime, and I don't think, in my memory, Michigan's never scored that many points in a half in the first half.
So right now, this is the biggest spread Michigan's ever had in the history. I do know that. My guess is if someone's had a bigger spread, it's probably like Alabama.
Right.
That's playing Stockbridge High School.
Right.
That's got to be the only thing I can think of. But I mean, the way Hawaii's played is justifiable.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, 63-10 to Vanderbilt, 49-17 to Western Kentucky. Coming into the big house at night. I hate the fact it's a night game, but it is what it is at this point. But real quick before we get on to Hawaii real quick, I just want to go back. One, can we have Robert Griffin III announce like every football game possible? I mean, he was pretty legendary about everything he did in that game. Two, did you hear? Yeah. Go ahead.
Him talking when he was walking out of the tunnel and the players come out. I think everybody amped up.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And two, did you hear what he said when Alex Orji scored a touchdown? Or at least read about it?
I'm not sure.
So Alex Orji ran the football in for a touchdown, right? And then, like, he didn't say it right away. And then, like, they kind of showed the replay, and he goes, Orji runs it in, and wouldn't you know it, we got an orgy in the end zone. And I'm like, oh, my God, dude. Like, yeah, all right, sign him up. And I was like, just give Robert Griffin III every single one of our football games at this point. I just wanted to point that out because they may have killed it, in my opinion, because
they did. So what's the other guy's name?
No idea.
I can't think of it right now. I know it. So I forgot that he was also a black guy, right? To me, he sounded a lot more white. Where RG3, you could tell the ethnicity is there, right? And at some point, I said something about putting African juices and berries in his hair, and I thought, oh my God, this guy's about to get fucking fired. And then it panned to him, and I'm like, oh shit, that's right, he's black. But I thought those guys were really funny. They were edgy, which I liked, with the orgy thing and the berry comment and juice and RG3. I'd take him all day, every day.
Oh yeah, I'd say he, in my opinion, killed it.
Yeah. So great time, great game, great win.
100%. Can't complain.
No major injuries. Somebody on the O-line rolled their ankle.
Carson Barnhart. He's out for the. He's the one that Trente Jones took over for. So right. I think he's a backup. Barnhart's all backup. So I mean, it's not going to kill us. But
so that kid that I can't think of his name right now that bounced around just come to. Us from Alabama. He made a big impression, right?
Yeah, Iabi Enomi.
Yep. And then our center.
First play of the game had the sack.
Yep. Our center.
First play.
Our center. The grad transfer from Virginia Tech or wherever he was. He had a hell of a game too.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see those guys come in.
Yeah, no, it's good to see them finally get out there and be able to play some football in the big house.
Yeah.
Well, carry on here. How about I don't think there's too much to really talk about with the Hawaii game. I mean, obviously, when Hawaii's quarterback through 2 games, just 400 yards passing. And let's see. Let's look at the rushing total. Yeah, they've only run for 200 yards rushing in 2 games.
Right.
So, I mean, who knows what's going to happen, though? Hawaii can come in and pull an App State. God, I hope not. I will cry.
And you don't know, and historically, right, Michigan against the spread. Yeah, but I don't care who you are. 50 points is difficult to do. I wouldn't be shocked if they covered it, but I would guess that they won't. Because Harbaugh wants to get in as many guys as we can, and I wouldn't be surprised. Let's just say Michigan's up 28-0 at the end of the first quarter. I wouldn't be surprised to see Cade get the second, and then the second half. And you're just gonna give up some points, and you're not gonna score as many points when you got when you go that far down the depth chart. And I got no problem with that. Let's get some guys some experience, especially in the they may not play it in the earlier season with the newer rule. They can play 4 games right before losing it. let's get him some real time experience on the field in the big house and see what happens. And as long as we win by 3 or 4 touchdowns, more than enough.
Oh yeah, I agree. I think, as I said, I don't think we cover the spread. I think we win probably as good as we did last week.
Yeah.
I think defensively, I think we probably can definitely shut them out this week. I don't see any reason we can't. I think they're a little bit more powerless on offenses, even though Colorado State. Oh wow! Sorry, I just read a stat about Hawaii. Colorado State had a little bit more talent, obviously, I think, than what Hawaii is probably going to have at this point. Hawaii has thrown 5 interceptions in 2 games.
Oh wow!
Yep, and they that stat was a stat that I read. Sorry, that's why I kind of stopped talking. So I mean, defense, eat up, boys. They have also fumbled.
Yeah,
they've also fumbled the football 5 times. Lost 3 of them. So they have 8 turnovers through 2 games.
Right.
Have a -6 turnover ratio. So I mean, hey boys, that defensive line is going to be licking their chops.
Yep. Yeah, I think our goal is it'd be ideal, right, to settle on the starter at quarterback, and then number 2 is to get everybody as much playing time as we can, and number 3 is to stay healthy. And other than that, let's go at Michigan score 100 points one time, but that's just not the way Harbaugh's wired. He's not going to do it. And there's been quite a few games over the years early in the season where he has picked to get players experience rather than preserve the shutout, and I'm okay with that too. I do like shutouts, and it helps pad your stats later in the year. But I'm thinking like 63.
Yeah. I'll take a 52-0 shutout. So I don't think we score that many touchdowns. I don't know. JJ starting, but I mean, I think our offense dies down as we take someone out. So last time Michigan played Hawaii, I went back because I was like sitting here thinking, I was like, we were at that game back in 2016. We scored 35 points in the first half against them.
Yep.
But so I mean, it'd be awesome if we could score another 2 touchdowns and take a 51-0 lead. I don't have much on Hawaii. I just don't see it being close at all.
No.
I think that's pretty much all we'll just keep saying. I mean, big day probably. I think JJ is going to have a good day. I think he's probably going to come out and do his thing, and JJ will be the starter. We'll go back on that real quick. I mean, I don't think there's any question at this point what's going to happen there. Between that, what about I can't think of his name now. Oh boy's the punter, his mustache.
Yeah.
Did you see all the love behind that, Brad?
Yep. Moody or not?
Moody.
Robbins.
Yeah, Brad Robbins. I was thinking Brad Allen. I don't know why. We used to have a kicker that was Brad Allen. Yeah, no, I mean that's a wild mustache there. I just thought I'd point that out too. Well, you got anything else? I don't really got anything. Kind of burned out on everything, at least on that part. Yeah, guys. So send in your predictions if y'all want in the comments. Like, comment, and share with all your friends and family out there. We appreciate everybody. Hopefully, we'll try to do it on Sunday, I think, this week. Sound good?
Yep, sounds good to me.
So we can just do it right after the game, and we can kind of remember some more stuff. So I think that's my problem. We'll see you hopefully Sunday, and I'm trying to think. Hopefully, we'll be live on Facebook then. I'm still banned from Facebook Live, so sorry again. As always, go blue, and beat Hawaii.
Hail.